Can I have another, please?
A third glass of sherry. I think you've had enough.
Miss Robinson, you need to put your coat on before you go outside.
Mrs. Miller, I think it's time you were going to bed now. If you stay up to the end of the programme, you'll be too tired in the morning for your doctor's appointment.
Oh, right.
You can only have 5 today because you've got a bad chest. Stuart, I don't think you should go out this morning. The ground's so slippery and you might have a fall. But everybody's having the flu jab. You don't want to be ill, do you?
I'll not bother with the shave this morning.
I'll do it for you. I don't want you looking scruffy. We don't want people thinking you're being neglected.
No, I don't want one this
Yes,
morning.
I think you ought to have one.
You really should stop gambling. You don't have the money.
What did you think of those situations? Did you think staff were being helpful? Too helpful? A bit pushy? Taking over and not enabling their residents to do things for themselves? You probably didn't think that they could be breaking the law. In this training session, we will look at how the Mental Capacity Act brings about a significant change to the way that we provide care. The Mental Capacity Act makes it clear you can't make other people's decisions for them unless the proper process has been followed. It is not an option to work in line with this legislation. It is your job and your duty. But don't worry, in this training session we'll show you how. It does take some getting used to, but it is not hard to follow the principles we will outline here. This training session will explain the 5 principles from the Mental Capacity Act, show you examples of people putting it into practice, teach you how to use these principles in your work, and show you how to make a capacity assessment. So, what do we mean by mental capacity? In general terms, mental capacity is the ability to make decisions and take actions. In a legal context, it refers to a person's ability to do something, including making a decision, which may have legal consequences for the person lacking capacity or for other people. The Mental Capacity Act affects all of us who work in care in England and Wales. It provides a legal framework for acting and making decisions on behalf of individuals who lack the mental capacity to do these acts or make these decisions for themselves. The Act is supported by a code of practice, which gives guidance and tells you how to put the Act into practice and how it will operate on a day-to-day basis. It'll help everyone who needs to make decisions for people who lack capacity. Everyone working with or caring for adults who lack capacity, whether they are dealing with everyday matters or life-changing events, has a legal duty to give regard to the guidance of the Code of Practice. Principles are set out in the Act, and the Code of Practice tells you how those principles are implemented. It is there to protect both residents and staff working with them. Residents are protected because the law makes clear that they have a right to make their own decisions. They're also protected because if a capacity test shows they lack capacity to make their own decisions, there is a framework to follow for decisions to be made in their best interests. For staff, the law also provides protection against prosecution when decisions are made for others, as long as the Mental Capacity Act Code of Practice has been followed. Mental capacity is the ability to make decisions and take actions. The Mental Capacity Act and its Code of Practice give protection to both staff and residents. The Mental Capacity Act has far-reaching impact on the everyday decisions that are made in a care home. If residents can make a decision, they have a right to do so. This covers everything: where to sit, what to eat, drink, where, read, listen to, whether to see a doctor, everything. Making decisions is a process we all learn, and we all get out of the habit of making decisions unless we have the chance to make them regularly. Some residents have got out of the habit of making decisions that they could make for themselves. We need to give them the time, opportunity and encouragement to make their own decisions.
I don't have any trouble, but I don't want it.
Well, tell me what you'd like to drink and then I'll see what I can do for you.
I'd like some juice, please.
That's fine.
The Mental Capacity Act also affects our day-to-day work because it puts a legal requirement on top of our duty to help people communicate.
From.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wilding, I don't know what we're talking about.
From.
Something from outside?
From. Yes. When?
Do you want to know when your daughter's coming?
Yes.
She told me she was going to come at lunchtime.
Oh.
The way we keep records will be changed by the Mental Capacity Act because we need to write down information about people's mental capacity, their wishes and our decisions and our actions. We will play an important part in helping our residents make future choices about their lives, helping make care plans in advance for them when they are no longer able to make those decisions, or by supporting them to appoint a lasting power of attorney to act on their behalf if they have the capacity to choose that person.
If I can't make a decision, please talk to Susan, my daughter. My son will only go into a flap. I want the doctor to act on Susan's advice.
Okay, it's great that we know what it is you want to do. I'll have to record it properly so that if it does happen, we can act accordingly. I'll speak to my manager about it and she can come and talk to you about how to set up a lasting power of attorney. Okay.
That's good, yes.
The Mental Capacity Act Code of Practice affects the way we do our everyday jobs. Care workers can support people to make their own decisions. Care workers can make sure the law is followed when people can't make their own decisions. There are 5 principles at the heart of the Mental Capacity Act. We will explain them here first, and then go on to look at them all in greater detail later. 1. A person must be assumed to have capacity unless it is established that they lack capacity. A simple way of saying this would be that as care workers we always presume capacity. 2. A person is not to be treated as unable to make a decision unless all practicable steps to help them to do so have been taken without success. As care workers, we enable people to make their own decisions with our support provided as they need it. 3. A person is not to be treated as unable to make a decision merely because it is an unwise decision. This could be simplified as unwise decisions are still decisions. 4. An act done or decision made under this Act for or on behalf of a person who lacks capacity must be done or made in that person's best interests. This could be expressed as act in people's best interests. And the 5th principle is, before the act is done or the decision is made, regard must be had to whether the purpose for which it is needed can be as effectively achieved in a way that is less restrictive of the person's rights and freedom of action. As care workers, we could express this as, choose the option that is least restrictive of a person's rights and freedom. There are 5 Mental Capacity Act principles. These 5 principles are very important, and you must have a clear understanding of what each of those mean.